Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mita Suki Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome once again to Sutta discussion. Today is day 40 by Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Tonight we are going to discuss the 15th session of Sigālovāda Sutta. Sigālovāda Sutta is the 4th sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, kindly check the previous videos of Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Clan's Facebook page and YouTube channel. The Sutta discussion Zoom class is still open. Therefore, whoever who wish to join the class where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Clan's Facebook Messenger. We are welcoming newcomers. Now, please allow me to introduce about our speaker. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima currently is the Senior Advisor at Ti-Ratana Canada, a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginner as well as expert students in learning Dharma in variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Ti-Ratana's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on regular basis. You can check on Ti-Ratana with the link www.ti-ratana.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante and thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the 40th session of our Sutta discussion series. And I see some new faces today. I want to welcome everybody, Ariana, Lim. They are always facilitating all these things technically and then otherwise. We have Kim, we have Kelvin, who has been with us for some time on Facebook, but yeah, so he broke the ice last Friday. And we have Sok Teng in face, probably a friend of somebody over here. And then Hessel and her mother, and then Hema. Probably a couple more might be joining as we proceed. So as we are going to do the last session of 2022, I thought at the end of this session, I would be reciting a short chanting because, you know, it does not show that we're going to be ending the sessions. Just because we are, you know, sort of finalizing for this year and then going to be continuing our progress 2023 onwards. So there will be a short chant just to let you know at the beginning. Okay, so before we proceed, let's pay respect to the Buddha. Let's say sadhu 3 times and then say Namo Tassa 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, so I got a message from, I think, Ariana, you should be getting to, probably it's me, I guess. Yeah, to everybody. Sadhris might not be joining, probably he's out of guess. Okay, so because we have a new face, Sok, have you ever learned about some suttas before? Because I might be just continuing the sessions, you might not know what's going on here, right? Have you ever studied some suttas before? Or have you been joining with us before online or like on Facebook? Or you just, is this your first time for a sutta discussion?
Yeah, this is the first time.
Okay. Okay, the first time. No worry. because we already have an experienced group. That doesn't mean that, that you need to know everything in a day. I think it's easy to catch up with our series even you start from today. So for 15 days almost, we've been studying about one particular sutta, Sigālovāda Sutta. So were you able to get the Pali and the English docs from us? Do you have the documents? Sutta
Yes,
Central?
I have. Yeah, Hema
Okay.
sent it to me just a
Okay.
short while ago.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, so what we've been discussing is relationships, not the so-called love relationships at the moment. I mean, we've been discussing about different relationships. We finished talking about the relationship between parents and children. So what are children supposed to do for their parents, and then what are parents supposed to do for their children? So there are 5 responsibilities that the Buddha talked about. And then I emphasize that when we understand these 10, we need to carefully look at the modern version, practical modern version of how we're going to, fulfill those things. Otherwise, it's a funny thing that to believe something just 2,500 years ago right away, like in other religions, we are not going to do that. We just look at it, how is this going to work out, right? Because not saying that anything is bad, wrong, but there is a different version of understanding. For example, the Dhamma you heard in early 70s, probably 80s, 90s, the sort of methodology that the monks speakers talk about could be different in today's world because of the lifestyle of different people, right? Respecting that, we are looking at these Dhamma matters in a more practical, also in a way that we are not disrespecting what they are. So, as I told you, by last Friday, we finished talking about the relationship between parents and children. So today we are moving toward the second relationship. So that is, as I explained to you others here, it's the relationship between teachers and students, or students and teachers. It's pretty interesting. So in our series of discussions, I normally encourage something else also, reading some Pali, just to get the folks here comfortable, like familiar, not leaving that out to the monk. Okay, he knows everything, so don't worry about it. So I'm asking even devotees, get used to that. So you know how to do it. Not because that disrespecting anybody, but you know how to read. So today we are supposed to read under 13 of Sutta Central link. Turn to that area. This is going to be the 3rd paragraph. Not the first one, not the second one, 3rd paragraph. Panchahiko Gahapati Putta. And I want somebody to read up until Pachupattita. Yeah, who would like to read? Okay, great. Go ahead, Kim.
Panchahiko Gahapati Putta Tanehi Antavasina Dakina Disa Acharya Pachupatataba Utanena Upatanena Sususaya Paricharyaya Sakacham Sipapatigahanena.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Imehiko Gahapati Putta Panchahi Tanehi Antevasina Dakina Disa Acharya Pachupatita. panchahi tanehi antavasim anukampati
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, that's for the second part. Huh? So we'll finish the first part. Yeah, great. Panchahiko. So when there's a comma, we're gonna pause. Panchahiko Gahapati Put Tane Ante Vasina Dakina Disa Acharya Pachupattha Tabba Uttanena Upattanena Sussusaya Paricharyaya Sakacham Sippa Patiggaha Nena. Okay, yes, this is the most important part. So now let's take a look at how this works. But I would like to ask somebody to read the English one too. Probably we can ask Sop to read that part in English, right? So can you go to the English document of Sigālovāda Sutta and you can see the numbers?
29.
29, yeah, 29. So you're gonna be you're gonna be reading up until instruction. Yeah, in 5 is instruction. Yeah, 29. I think we can't hear you. Something happening.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, great.
So it's number
29.
29, right? In 5 ways, should teachers as the southern directions be respected by a student by rising for them, regularly attending lessons, eagerly desiring to learn, duly serving them, and receiving instructions. And
Okay, great. Yeah, great. Okay, so here, this is interesting, but there are things that we need to learn before we go into, I would say, explain more about it. Now, as you can see, there is a certain direction, the relationship between, I would say, students and teachers represent. What is that direction, Kelvin?
South.
Southern direction. The south. So what is the most important thing about the direction thing here? Why are those relationships given to directions? Why were such given in here in the sutta? I think nobody talks about it. They just say south is this relationship, west is this relationship. So how to understand it? What's the reason of why these relationships were given as a direction thing? I think I discussed with you last couple of days, last 2 Fridays. So the reason is given in the commentary. You won't see it here. It is said that Patichādana. If you could see the Pali one here, number 13 in Pali, Chaddisa Patichādana Kanda. Cha means 6. Disa means directions. Patichādana. This is interesting. Patichādana means covering. So you are covering 6 directions. Why you need to cover directions? Because there are certain fears arising from these directions. There are fears arising. Are there fears arising when you are not fulfilling your responsibility? Yes, when you are not taking care of your mom and dad, then there are fears arising from their end, from your end. If you are not fulfilling their responsibilities for them, then you are creating fear. And if they are not fulfilling their responsibility, they are creating fear in. Is it correct? If your mother and father do not take care of you, then there's a fear they are creating. Your life is so uncertain, right? You don't know what's going to happen to you because you are too young, too small. What if they are not teaching you what is good, what is bad? So then your future is at jeopardy, right? You don't know what's going to happen. So there's fear. There's fear. That fear is not only creating for you, they are creating that fear for the whole society. What if 100 parents do the same thing? Okay? There are very, terrible issues coming up. In the same way, If the teachers are not doing their responsibilities for the students, if the students are not doing their responsibilities for their teachers, then there are certain fears that they are creating in the society. Not even in society, in their household, outside, because you learn something from somebody, you don't care about that person. Are you creating fear for them? Yeah. You are creating fear in multiple ways. So that's why the directions were given. Otherwise, there's no sense. It doesn't make sense. Why are they given as a direction? So in the direction pattern, South was given to the relationship between students and their teachers. Now I want you to look at the Pali word here. Panchahiko. What is Pancha? What does Pancha mean in Pali? What is Pancha? Pancha means five. Easy to understand. Pancha means five. Gahapati Putta. What is Gahapati? What is Putta? Gahapati. Now this is very interesting. When you are asked by somebody, what is Gahapati? Don't understand. That means there is something that you have to work on. Yeah, Hema? Gahapati Putta. What is Gahapati? What is Gaha in Pali? Let's break down this particular word into a couple. Gaha means house. Okay. We call it Geha actually. We call it Geha in Pali. So Geha means house. Geha. But here, Gaha, because it has been grammatically reproduced. So here Gaha also means house. Then Pati means Pati has couple meaning, master, owner, right? Yeah. Pati means, yeah. Pati, Gahapati. Then Putta means, what is Putta?
Son.
Do we have Puttas? Yeah, son. Son. Putta means son. Then Putti, it is not mentioned here. What is Putti? What is Putti?
Daughter.
Daughter. It's feminine. That's the feminine version. Putta Putti. But normally it is given by Putta. Gahapati Putta, that means son of the household. I would say here, householder's son. Okay. Because his father, mother already passed away, right? Okay. Gahapati. Tanehi. In Vesa, Ante Vasina. Ante Vasina, now I have a question about something. Ante Vasina. At that time in India, now Buddha is referring to Indian students, right? At that time. What was this time called? Tell me the time in modern ways, how to understand the Buddha's time. Now we are in 2023. How do we calculate this time? What is this time called in historical terms? How do we calculate this time? How does this time start, this 2023? How does it start? Interesting questions, huh? Mind-boggling questions. Yeah, Kelvin?
Christ.
Is it AD?
AD, yes. That's the correct. Yeah, Aliana is right. It's correct too. Maybe this is how we're going to say. AD. Okay, AD. 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 What does AD mean? Anno Domini. Anno Domini means with the time of the Jesus Christ. Now it's been 2023. Do we take Buddha's time from AD or something else? How do we take it?
BC.
BC. Interesting. BC. What does BC mean?
Before
BC
Christ.
means before Christ, before the birth of the Christ. Now you can guess about the time of the Buddha now. Just have an educated guess about it. What was the Buddha's time from BC?
650.
Then you take 6 centuries before, 6 BC. Okay. 6 BC. You don't say BC 6. That's up to a different term. 6 BC. Okay, before Christ. That means the Buddha lived 6 centuries before the Christ of the Jesus Christ. Okay, 6 centuries, 600 years before, right? That means now you can calculate, you can do the maths now. 2023, now make, do your maths. It's around 2,600 years. Yeah. That's how we're going to make it. Okay. Is it a new thing to all of you, these calculations? I think not for Kelvin. For some it may be new. Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I brought this up is this Antevasina. Antevasina means at the time of the Buddha, that means approximately 2,600 years before, around that time, students not just go to school and then go back to their houses. Normally, the students go to the school, those famous schools, and then they stay there as a resident student, right? This happens in today's world too, right? If you are coming from a faraway place, then you're gonna stay in the hostel, dormitory, right? Otherwise, you just go to the university because your house is nearby. But at that time, no, it's a must. You have to stay in the school, right? We call this famous school called, what do you call? Takkasila, right? Taksila, Disapamokka, right? So the famous teacher. So all the elite students would like to go to this school, like the Oxbridge traditions, Oxford, Cambridge. So they want to go and stay there, you know. And then the teacher is the one who is decided. Remember, there's a very interesting story that happened. I would like to add this story to this relationship here, the responsibilities. Once the Bodhisattva, Shakyamuni Bodhisattva, was a very educated prince. So he was sent to the school called Takkasila. And other students became very jealous of him because he is a very smart and a bright student, they saw, right? So this kept going. And then what happened was that one day, teacher, he wanted to know how honest are his students, or how honest, or probably how smart are his students, right? So there are some practical exams like residency kind of things. So he said to all of them, it is said that there were around 500 students who were studying under him. If you go to your houses within a day or two and steal something from your parents, and if you come to the school back again, I'm gonna see the first student who can do that, and then I'm gonna give my daughter as a marriage to that student. So the boys were really crazy. So then they jump out and then they went to their houses to steal something from them. But then the teacher said, if the parents knew this, I would not select that student. So there was one student who did not say anything. He did not do anything. He was like just not concerned about it. So he asked that student to come over. You know, I think you heard what I said to all of you. So you just have to go and then do this. Then he said, now you told all of us, steal something from our houses, not letting our parents know. But I know, even though our parents do not know, but there are certain beings who can see what we are doing secret. Then he was concerned, who are they? Tree spirits, spirits in the trees. They can come to our rooms, even we lock the doors, they can see, but they are not doing any harm, but they can know. Now, if you question from yourself, how our karmas are stored, there should be a mechanism, right? Now, you only know it, but you forget about it in the next slide. Then somebody is remembering all that. Where are they recorded? Right? You do a wrong thing to somebody, then you forget about it because the samsara is too long, right? Then, but in next life or some other lives, you're going to experience this. Then there should be a memory somewhere, right? There should be a memory with our karma. Our karmas are stored in a memory. Probably not in our body. In Sanskrit, they call Akasha Varta, the sky records. But we don't know how it works. How do the sky records work in Hinduism? But there should be a way how things work. And I recently watched, the person is saying a research from a university saying that they were checking the weight of people before they are dead and after they are dead. And the group was able to find out that 8 grams of something was missing after the death. Interesting, right? Check the, 8 grams of something is missing after the death. That means there was something that is not material, but that is missing after the death. That means there is a weight for something that is going out. So anyways, now the idea here is that students were supposed to stay with the teacher, right? That is the idea. Ante Vasina means that student was a resident student at that time. This is how the relationship was given. Dakinadisa Acharya Pachupatta Tabba. A student who is, now you take it from this way. Any student, regardless of a resident or a non-resident student, should fulfill 5 responsibilities for his or her teachers. Okay? But we have to take caution. We have to understand the context. The first one. Okay, what is the name of Acharya, the meaning of Acharya? What is Acharya? There are a couple Pali terms for teacher in Pali language. One is Acharya. This one. Acharya. Acharya. Okay. Another one is Guru. I think it's a famous term, but it's come from Sanskrit and Pali too. Guru. I think nowadays people say if somebody is very expert in any subject, you call it a guru, right? A guru. How do we take Acharya? What is Charya? Okay, A is a prefix. So this is a prefix meaning the boundary. Okay. A means it is a prefix. It means the boundary of something. Charya. Charya means good behavior, something like that. Now, Charya. So, A is a prefix. You know, prefix in English, right? A means it shows the limit. Okay. Now, that means the name of Pali name of the teacher means that somebody who is disciplining a student to a level of good behavior. Does it make sense? Now, if this is not happening from any teacher, such teachers are not attributed this way. Charya is good behavior. So A means, we call it maryada. That means the boundary, limitation, restriction. That means the teacher has to bring the student to a certain level. Just have a guess. Can a teacher bring all students to a certain level at the end of the teaching? No, not possible. That means each student has to be reviewed separately at their own pace of learning, right? But unfortunately, what most teachers do is that they go with the best student, smart student, they leave out the other ones. I don't have time for them. Saying like that. But a good teacher always is concerned about every student in their own way, at their own pace of learning. Like I'm concerned about all of you. I know that all of you are at different stages of knowledge. So I'm leaving out questions. You can ask questions. You can, that space. I'm not saying that we have to go with the best knowledgeable Dhamma student here. I don't care about other people here, right? That's a pretty, disqualified knowledge of a teacher. Right? That is very interesting. So here, what we need to understand is that Acharya means, means boundary, Charya is good behavior. So a teacher should know how to bring all the students to their best levels of their discipline, to their best level of their good behavior. That means the role of teacher is fundamentally not giving the knowledge. Interesting, huh? It is to bring them to discipline. That is number one. Because knowledge is, it is one of the most important things. But in today's world, you see lots of educated people, but if you look at some of their disciplines, that might not be the case. Right? So the name Acharya here means someone who is bringing their students to a certain discipline. Okay. And the other term is guru. This term, guru. You saw it, right? Now, what does guru mean? Guru means wait. So that means the teacher should be able to bring something, teach something little deeper about the subject, right? Deeper, right? There are two terms for teacher. Now let's get into the responsibilities of students towards their teachers. Any questions so far about these namings, meanings of the name, relationship, backgrounds? Any questions so far? Not yet. You can ask later if you have. Utthanena. What does utthanena mean? Utthanena. What does utthanena mean? Sok already read that in English. It is said, by rising for them. By rising for them. What does it mean? That means when you see a teacher who taught you, you're going to rise for them. Is that what is it meant by?
Greet. We are supposed to greet the teachers.
Oh, okay. We are supposed to what?
Greet.
Great. That's a good way of it. But utthanena, literally it means, utthanena means rise for them. At that time, it was something. Actually, in the Eastern system, in Sri Lanka and India, they stand up when the teacher, they rise when the teacher, enters the classroom. Probably when they see the teacher outside too. And they don't even call teachers by their name. This is a what do you call custom in schools in even America and Canada too. But there are some other things. So like people call professors by their names. Don't call me by professor. Call my name. I'm Mike. Just call me Mike. But this happens in the East in different ways. People think, okay, I can have a drink with my professor. No, it's not. It's not how it works. But in the school, high school, other normal schools, teachers are not addressed by students by their name. Yeah. So how do we understand this in modern world? Because you can't rise for teachers all the time, right? Now you see them all the time, right? In the train, on the bus, outside. It's kind of a little bit awkward sometimes, right? It's like some people do when they see a temple, they're going to just rise from their bike in some place. I have seen that. When they ride a bicycle near the temple, they just rise from the cushions. Really? Is that safe, man? Do something that is appropriate, maintaining the safety of you and the people on the road. Sometimes we have to review our things that we do for our respect, right? We have to review whether they are really safe to do so, right? So here, I think what Kevin brought up is interesting. Greeting. So in another way, we could say, when we see them, we should have respect according to the time and location. That's the thing. That's what we have to. I remember a lady who was going to bow down to me in the train, like a very jam-packed train in Vancouver, a long time ago. I said, don't do that here because people respect. It's a jam-packed train. Because people don't think that you have to bow down to somebody, right? Do it in a temple, not here. Maybe somewhere that you feel comfortable. I feel comfortable too, right? Other people don't know who am I. I just wear a robe, right? So do it appropriate. No, Bhante, we are Sri Lankans, we do that everywhere we see a monk. Said, okay, I respect that, right? So respect has to be done appropriately according to the time and place. So what we have to learn here is that if you studied under somebody, teacher, professor, anybody, you should be able to understand how to do the respect according to the time and location. It is not just rising, right? Not even at that time it was rising, but in today's world, it is the whole respect that you are trying to see. Maybe you might greet depending on the place and location. At least say hi. Have a short chat. Give them respect that you recognize your teacher. Anything to add in addition to that? At this point, the responsibility. Kim, what have you done for your teachers when you see them outside, Kim?
I will say, hello, how are you? It's been a long time. I've not seen you for a long time. How are you?
Yeah, great. Yeah. That's been so natural. Just say hi, yeah. Have a short chat, recognize them, right? Okay, second, anybody else who wants to add to that point? Okay, so let's get into the next one. Upattanena. Upattanena means, what does upattanena means? Regularly attending lessons. Yeah, I think the translation has to be a little bit different here. Upattana, Upattana. Now, Upattana has couple meanings. Now, Upattana is ministering, attending, right? Now, Buddha had a great attendant, right? Buddha had a great attendant. Lim, I think Hema is trying to connect some issues have arisen. Can you just, yeah.
I called.
Okay, you are there.
Thank you, Brother Lim. He's good. He guided me. Thank you, Bhante. Sorry about that. My house internet is really upside down. So I'm okay now. I am still very at peace. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
We just mentioned your name. You are there in a moment.
Thank you. Yeah, Brother Lim, he's very good. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu.
Great. Okay. So the second responsibility, as you see, upattanena. Upattana in Pali means attending. Now, did the Buddha have a great attendant? What was his name?
Ananda.
Anand. Right?
Ananda.
Anand. Now you
Anand.
can check with that meaning. Huh? Now I already taught you how to find the meaning with Acharya. Now bring that theory to this point. How do we find the meaning? Anand. We'll see some Pali here. Now this is the name, Anand. Every Pali name has a meaning. So here, if A means boundary. If A means boundary, then Nanda, just decombine the word Nanda. What is Nanda? What does Nanda mean? Interesting, huh? What does Nanda mean in Pali? Joy.
Happiness.
Joy.
Happiness.
Okay.
Then what does Ananda mean? Someone who is joyous but has a boundary of that joyous, that joy, right? And there is another name called Upananda. This is another prefix. Upananda. Can I say Upa is another. Upa means near. Nanda again, joy. That means somebody who is not joyous, who is not joyful, but near the joy. Right? Who is that person? Huh? Sometimes we are tracking some jokes. Some people don't get the joke. Huh? Then think about, so he or she smile a little later, you know. You don't need to get that joke. Oh, just now. Right? So it's different from each other, right? So there are meanings to these terms. So now you know Nanda and Upa A, they are prefixes. A means boundary of something. So Upattana, now we talk about the greatest attendant of the Buddha. What was his name? Ananda. Ananda, right? So now, what was the role of Anand, Bhante Ananda? To take care of the Buddha, to provide the food, to provide the water. But there was a time just before he passed away, the Buddha passed away, the Buddha could not find water, good water, pure water. Then what happened? There was the muddy water because the people who were against the Buddha, they mixed the water with mud. The Buddha had done something not good in the past life. They are coming after, chasing after, right? Muddy water. But Ananda was able only to bring that up. And the other thing is the whole idea, Upattana. That means as students, you are supposed to minister to your teacher. That means sort of attend to them. Attend to them means that you are going to take care of them in a proper way, right? Sometimes if you are too much about it, can lead to unnecessary problems, right? So you have to keep the distance, but you know how to take care of it while keeping your, your space, right? You always have to keep your space, but you take care of it. Upattani. Here the English meaning is given as regularly attending lessons. Yeah, that is also one way of, but here Upattana does not simply mean that you are attending lessons. That means you are attending your teacher. Attending means taking care of them in a proper way. Don't take care of them in an improper way. Yeah? In a proper way. Third responsibility is Sussusaya. What is Sussusaya? Sussusaya. What does Sussusaya mean? That's the third responsibility. Hazel, are you on that? Sussusaya, third responsibility of students towards their teachers. Sussusaya means the third responsibility of a student towards their his or her teacher is to listen well, listen properly. Is listening a big problem in our life? Not even just in the relationships like teacher-student. Isn't that the biggest problem that most people go through in today's world? Right? But they say that they are in love with you and everything, but at the end, something is happening that you don't understand. That means you don't understand to the level of not listening properly. There's passive listening, not active listening. Probably they think that I don't want to listen to that person. She should listen to. I talk. Right. So listening is a big barrier to most of us if we don't take care of it properly, if we don't execute our listening skills properly. Actually, the Buddha said we need to listen more, so more problems can be minimized. It doesn't mean that we are going to be lower just by listening to somebody, because when you listen to somebody, then most of the problems can be solved, right? Because when you present your view, then you are adding up to another level of problems on top of the issues. So students are supposed to listen to teachers. What are the other things that we need to discuss about listen? How did the Buddha use listening skills in his teaching? Anybody has any examples, stories of the Buddha? Now I'm asking you, any stories of the Buddhist history or Buddha that we can see how did the Buddha practice listening skills, although he knows everything, how to do? Any stories? When did the people who are going to really attack the Buddha, saying different bad things like allegations, what was the Buddha's initial answer to them, response to them? He was listening to them quietly, right? He was patient listening to them, right? He did not start saying his own version. Of course, by listening to others, he also minimized. But there was a time that he even could not solve a problem. What was that problem? Now people are expecting Buddha's help. There was a time even the Buddha could not help solving a problem. What was it? There was a conflict happened between two types of monks in a temple. Goshitaram. They had a very petty concern. One group of monks said, when you go to the toilet, you should keep some water. Other monks said, no, it is the responsibility of somebody who is going there. We don't need it, right? So then the both groups, actually you say this way, one group was saying, we respect the Dhamma. Other group saying, we respect only the Vinaya. So discipline group and the Dhamma group, now they are in clash. Then the Buddha said, this is not even a concern. Let's just drop this idea. He kept teaching them, but nobody listened to him. Finally, he had to leave the temple. He left the temple to the forest. Now just imagine, you're thinking about what if the Buddha was here, he would solve all the problems. There was people, even monks, who did not listen to him. Then what happened was when the Buddha left the temple, people stopped giving dana to the temple. Now there was a big problem. There were no food to the temple. So they all went to see the Buddha, asking him to come. What does this story mean? Buddha was a normal person. Although he was a supreme force, he was a normal person. Now, just imagine that the chief monk in a temple, abbot in a temple, is dealing with the sort of problems that a chief monk, maybe a priest, is going to go through. These are the same problems. There are different people, different arguments, different views, right? especially in Buddhism, this can get increased more, not like in other religions. We go to Christianity, too organized, right? You can't just talk whatever you want. You have to always abide by the books, really organized. I mean, I'm not saying that Buddhism is not organized, but there are things that can happen because of the liberal thinking. You are too liberal. You say what you want to say, going beyond the books and the things. So Buddha even could not solve the problem. He had to leave the temple. He went to the forest called Parileya. And then finally, you know who helped him? One big elephant and a monkey. They are the two people who took care of him. He was really compassionate towards those two animals, Parileya, elephant, and the monkey. The monkey brought some honey, and the elephant brought something else. Yeah, they really took care of him, not anybody else. So listening is a big problem. Even no, what about Devadatta, monk Devadatta? I always bring this example. He said to King Ajasatta, you know what? Just ruling the country is no good. You need to kill your father, take the kingship. And I'm going to kill the Buddha and become the Buddha. He thought in that simple way. And then he said, from today onwards, I'm going to be a vegetarian. Not from today, I've been a vegetarian. And the Buddha he went to the Buddha, he said, Buddha, you should impose 5 rules for every monk. What are they? All monks, none should avoid eating meat, fish and meat. Become vegetarians. All monks and nuns should not stay in the temple. Go to the forest. All monks and nuns should wear the robes that were made up by clothes that were wrapped up by the dead bodies, dead bodies. They can't buy the stuff like that. And all monks and nuns should go for Pindapat. Right? And you know what was the Buddha's response? Say, no, these are too extreme. Let anybody want to practice, let them practice. If anybody doesn't want to practice, let them not practice. Buddhism is not that kind of extremity. Interesting. And then he said, what he wanted was to make a conflict with the Buddha, and then told all the monks, see what the Buddha said. I'm more compassionate person towards animals, for devotees. So he was able to take 500 monks at that temple, Jetanarama, and brought them to another place. See, even monks were, convinced by him. He took 500 monks from the Jetanarama, brought them to another place, saying that I'm better than the Buddha. See, there are issues. But later on, Bhante Sariputta was able to bring those monks back. So the idea is that listening is a bigger issue. So that's why I'm telling people, before reading Dhamma, read the life of the Buddha. Otherwise, you're going to read something and look at a theory book. A theory book only does not help us. We have to learn what really happened at the time of the Buddha. Then read the Dhamma, life of the Buddha and the Dhamma. Then Vinaya, whatever, Abhidhamma, whatever. Don't start your journey from the Dhamma or Abhidhamma, learn life of the Buddha, and then Dhamma, Abhidhamma or Vinaya, or whatever other teachings of anybody. So listening is a very big scale, right? If you can remember Mangala Sutta, do we find something about listening? Can you remember Mangala Sutta, the 38 blessings? Yeah, you find them? Anybody finds anything from Mangala Sutta about listening? Or Metta Sutta? Karaniya matta kusalena yantan santam padang abhisamicca. Sakko ujucha sujucha. Suachu chassamudvanatimana. You find anything about listening or proper listening skills? There should be some blessings about listening skills too, right? If I could show you that. I hope this should be in Metta Sutta. Karaniya matta kusalena yantam sampada abhisamicca sakko ujucha sujucha suvacho. Suvacho means you are not stubborn. You are able to listen to someone, right? That is very interesting. Because if you are not able to listen to others, then there are more problems that can arise. Then, do we have anything from Mangala Sutta? I think you all know Mangala Sutta, right? We already did that.
Don't associate with fools. Don't listen to foolish.
Oh, that is the starting. Sevanacha balanam panditana sevana. Pujacha pujaniyana etam mangalam uttamam. Patirupa desa vasocha ubbecha katapunyata. Atta samma pandicha etam mangalam uttamam. Then Bahu Satchancha Sippancha Vinayo Susiki Vibhasataja Avacha Etam Mangalam Uttamam. Mata Pitu Upattana Putta Daras Sangaho Anaka. We don't see that properly. There should be a place where we have to understand that listening is more important in blessings. At the same time, becoming a person who has 15 skillful habits, especially in the Metta Sutta. Okay, so we are taking more time for that. So the third responsibility is you should be able to listen to your teacher. But in modern day world, if the teacher has something that you don't agree, you should be able to discuss that in a more objective way also. Teacher, I don't agree with that. I think this is something that I believe. So, but you should be able to do it if it is allowed in a proper way. Because in Buddhism, we don't believe that you should agree to all comments and everything from this teacher. That is really not the proper way, right? So you need to ask questions, right? There's no harm unless you don't, insult the teacher. Should not insult anybody, right? But just something just to correct with the respect. Okay, that's the third responsibility. The fourth one, paricharyaya. What is paricharyaya? Paricharyaya means paricharyaya. Paricharya also means that you are taking care of them. More probably, serving them. Yeah, serving them is one better way of saying that. Serving them in a proper way. Now, the second one, we talk about attending them. So serving them, right? You are serving for them. So, there are multiple ways of doing that. In a university, you can be a teaching assistant. You can be the assistant of the teacher, professor, right? You can be helping your teacher in different ways, right? Paricharya. Now, this could also mean some of the things that students did in olden days, by being a resident, but we have to understand such in the modern context. So we just say serving them appropriately. The second one is attending them appropriately. The last one is sakkacham sippa patiggahane. I think this could probably be the best way. Doesn't mean that you have to forget others. That means, as you can see in English, receiving insight. I would say sakkacham sippa patiggahana means learning everything from teacher very well. Probably if you say, be somebody who study well. That would be the best thing that you could do to your teacher, right? becoming better student, becoming a very good student by learning well. Some teachers would like to say little blow the trumpet. I have this kind of a student, right? They are happy about it, right? So studying really well would be the best non-harmful responsibility to the teacher when you study well. If you take it to Buddhism, what could be the best way to fulfill the responsibilities for a Buddhist teacher? You learn everything well and being able to apply, and then probably you'll be able to share your knowledge that you learn from the teacher among others. Sakkacca means properly, duly. Sakkacca. Sippa means knowledge. Patiggahane, that means you are digesting, learning well of the knowledge that the teacher taught us. Do we have to concern about the teacher's request too sometimes? What would have happened to Prince Siddhartha when he was requested by Alara Kalam and Uddaka Ramaputta, the pre-teachers of him? He went up to them, he learned something from them up to certain jhanic levels, and then the teacher said, Alara Kalam said to Prince Siddhartha, hey Siddhartha, can we share the class and you don't want to go anywhere, we teach it. And then what did the Siddhartha say? He said, thank you for that invitation, but I need to continue my self journey, Dhamma journey. What if he said yes to the teacher at that point? Then he would have never become the Buddha. Sometimes we have to make some decisions. Respecting the teachers, you have to find your own meaning in your life, own truth, own search. Otherwise, you are stuck in that life. Don't apply this to your marriages, huh? I mean, keep with them. I'm talking about the spiritual journeys, respecting your people around you, but spiritually, don't just be stuck in one place. Don't be stagnated. It's an open zone. Just go. Continue your life. Go forth. There's no harm, no interruption that should happen from anybody. Right? So he went up to another teacher then. What was his name? Uddaka Ramaputta. When he learned his Dhamma knowledge to another level, we call it Neva Sanya Na Sanya Yatana Jhana. Then the teacher also said, Siddhartha, I think you have already come to this level. Now, can we share the students? Can we teach them as a shared knowledge? He said, thank you for the request, but I need to continue. Right? Remember, once he became the Buddha, who did he see? Who did he want to see? He was remembering the teachers. Who do I want to teach now? He looked at the Alara Kalam and Uddaka Ramaputta right at that time, before thinking about anybody else. But unfortunately, they passed away 1 week. One passed away 1 week ago. The other one passed away 2 weeks ago, I guess, probably one day before. Then he thought about the 5 ascetics, those of the monks who left him, saying that you are not following what we taught you. So you see, Buddha was really respectful. He knew that sometimes, the 5 ascetic thing, these 5 ascetics did not teach me anything proper, but he felt that gratitude. But they tried to tell me something that they knew, so I had to respect. Then he thought about them, visualized, and he found out they are living in the Benares place, what do you call? Isipatanaram. Then he thought I would go there and then teach them. They initially did not care them, but later they were really respectful about it. But see, his respect towards his own teachers. Right? Yeah, so I think it's a very interesting topic in our life, because we may have teachers. Who are our first teachers, though? You might say, my first teacher is Isabella, right? Not that one. Who are your first teachers?
Parents, mother.
Parents. How do we understand that? Pugba Acharya means our parents. Our first teachers are our parents. Yeah. Not Dr. Isabella. Huh? Okay. That means your pseudonym, our parents. Since then, we have lots of teachers, right? That means we need to although they did not help us much, probably not help us much, but we should have the gratitude. That is how we can grow in our knowledge, grow in our wisdom. Otherwise, we have a different life. So those who do not respect their teachers cannot grow well in their wisdom and their other Dhamma practices. Okay, so that's what we need to learn today. I mean, the 5 responsibilities. Any questions about these 5 or any other specific comments that you want to make about teachers, students, teachers in your own way, in your life? Yeah. Any questions? Any comments? Today is just, I would say, the last session for this year. And we are just one day away from the new year, right? So I hope that you may be respectful towards your teachers today. Yeah, please.
For like the thing that I learned Dharma, like how to learn and how to get a teacher or how to learn from. Now I think too many teachers in the internet, in the books, and also how should we, I think we are fortunate we can learn from Bhante, Dr. Chandima, and how about other and for how we learn, waste our time, learn the wrong things, especially in the Buddhist, in the Dharma. Yeah.
How do we learn from others?
How do we sell or how we choose or how we that means how to say how we guide ourselves not to learn wasting our time or use our effort learn the wrong thing, especially in the Buddhism, and we are choose the right.
Are you saying who to listen to?
No, it's part of it, I think, yeah.
I think it's more how to recognize a good teacher, right?
How, yeah, good teacher or even the true, you say the true Dhamma or something that is not the wrong path. Is even like yes.
Yeah, I think most of the teachers deliver the true Dhamma. I guess most of it. We can't say this and that have some issues. Rather than looking at a good teacher, I think my concern is learn from all the Dhamma speakers. It could be me, it could be somebody else. Learn from every. The most important thing is your own journey is different from us. Maybe different from another person over here. Your experiences, what you have been going through in your life, not even in this life, samsaric life. So when you learn from maybe one teacher overly, maybe somebody else, maybe a couple of the others, then you will understand what really makes sense to you, right? Because you are not just going to believe things that are not going to, Dhamma unfriendly. You can understand I don't think this is really Dhamma. You can feel that sensibility, right? So try to look at your life with the teachings of somebody. Of course, I'm not saying that just to catch up with all these speakers on internet, because it's wasting time, because you can't have a lot of time for that. But I think you are already engaged with some teachers, including here. So try to incorporate those teachings, whether these teachers can really help my life, personal life. I think that could be the teacher that you should not follow. Don't follow any teacher. Just follow the Buddha, Dhamma. Probably follow the teachings in a way, But if things are not going to be friendly with what you have been experiencing, you should be able to question the teacher, right? I really like people question, not to disrespect, insult, but to know. Okay. Other than that, I can't say these are the things that you should only follow, because that might be a unfriendly way of explaining that. Because I think there are things to learn from every Dhamma speaker. But some should be a little different, but yeah.
Bhante, Buddha also has a few teachers, right? Before he followed the right teacher. Am I right?
He had 3 ascetics, 5 ascetics. So primarily 8 teachers that we know, because Bhargava, Alarkalama, Uddakaramputa were pre-teachers, and then he had the 5 ascetics. Yeah. And then he found out nobody can really work for me. I have to go use my self-knowledge.
Oh, no.
That is how he became. Yeah, I think that's the correct way, even for you. When you learn, like you learn from this person, that person, finally it's a bunch of knowledge. Even your brain cannot process all that, right? So what you need to do is take all this knowledge and try to apply in a proper way, whether this is going to really work for me. Yeah, but being grateful.
Yes.
So he had apparently 8 teachers. 8 teachers in his last life, apparently. Not even that, Kim, Buddha also was listening to talks of other monks. Because it is said he had a back pain, right? So then he asked somebody else to take over. And then he was listening to the Dhamma talk. Because Dhamma is Dhamma. Regardless of who is going to say that. Even a small monk or a very experienced old monk. It doesn't matter. Dhamma is Dhamma. So he was learning. Learning, probably he doesn't need to learn, but he was listening to them. That is why when the Buddha was going to pass away, other monks, non-enlightened monks, were really confused. They asked the Buddha, when you passed away, who is going to be our teacher, our acharya? It was a good question, right? Then the Buddha said, don't worry. Let Dhamma Vinaya be your teacher after I pass it. That means Dhamma and Vinaya is our teacher. Emma, are you going to say something?
Oh, Bhante, I like to say that first thing I like to say, I'm very grateful to the teaching, your guidance in all these sutta, especially the beginning one, the Ratana Sutta and Mangala and the 3 suttas, because I've been chanting and all that, but in a way, Bhante, you has guided me to go more in depth to see more content to understand. So I appreciate that the Bhante's been so patient with us, asking so many questions, and sometimes we can't answer. But in a way, we are learning a lot. I think on my side, I benefited a lot from Bhante guiding us the past 3 sutta, even the current one. I appreciate that, because sometimes I miss the class, but I do really make effort to be a good student when the teachers appear. So I better turn up. Well, I pick up something. I learned something. I mean, Bhante appear in our space at this moment is fantastic. I appreciate that, because what I've been chanting all during the COVID time that Bhante Sada guided us was really good and powerful, the Ratana Sutta and all that. But you brought us to much understanding of the content. And that is really a good connection that I have. And I felt that I learned a lot. I appreciate that. And sadhu very much. I will continue to be the student, okay? Thank you very much, Bhante. I will continue to learn, because there's so much to know, especially when Ratana Sutta, we've gone through so much. It's really guiding us to be Sotapanna. I was really amazed. And the 15 habits in the Metta Sutta, I also is really a lot of learning. I appreciate that, Bhante. I appreciate that, Bhante. And so for all the months' effort that Bhante put on these classes, I truly appreciate that. I think I benefited a lot. I believe the sisters and brother here too. Thank you very much, Bhante. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm looking forward
so-
to listen more Dharma talks, more Dharma insight, because I find it's not just, I find for me, I benefited from the teaching of what Bhante has been teaching is really, you connect many other suttas or other stories or other discourse being mentioned in somewhere, but I somehow or other managed to pick up something that I never get to read, the story of the Buddha and all that. And when Bhante talked about that, that is also very helpful. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. I'm still your student. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Any questions about teacher? Because I like to see the stories about the Buddha's life about this. Interestingly, now as Kim asked, there were 8 apparently teachers to Shakyamuni Buddha, right? That's interesting. And then Buddha said when he passed, before he passed away, Dhamma and Vinaya is going to be your teacher after I passed away, right?
Yes.
And then how else are we going to look at it? Because we're going to have a different discussion next Friday about how are teachers supposed to take care of, fulfill their responsibilities. Yeah, so you made a comment, right? What is it? The stories of Buddha are very, because I'm trying to say it, because lots of stories that you learn, they were highly superimposed by other people about the Buddha, like making Buddha an extra special person. This happens by the commentarial traditions. But there were times, so we can't deny that. But most often, what we see the Buddha as a normal person who had a back pain and who had a tummy problem, stomach issue, and then who were attacked by the normal monk, right? And then, who could not sometimes, solve an issue, and who was accused by people, right? This is a normal situation. So, but what is more important is to find a way how to understand the life. That's what we learn. But as a life, Buddha had a very normal life. It's not an abnormal life. I think people made him abnormal, thinking, oh, a lot of auras going around the Buddha's head. Huh? Really? Even looking at the aura, I make myself comfortable, calm. Yes. But what if it is not the case in the text, like you learn, right? If it is not given like that. Like in Sri Lanka, there was a place called Aukana, a Buddha statue in Anuradhapura, the ancient city. Seeing a Buddha statue over there, why? The Buddha is like 18 feet high, tall. And the people say, this is not the Gautama Buddha. This is probably the Dipankara Buddha or something. Like 80 feet, So we had to understand these stories to sort of demystify. Lots of mysticism going around, because how to say this? Now, when you want to say good things about somebody, then you say this to some. The second person wants to sort of add more good to that person. And that person is going to increase more good, sort of additional extra good to that person. So if you think this conversation keeps going around like 100 persons, the 101 person is going to make it a very big deal, So there are some issues too, like this. But in my reading, what I say is that he was a very normal person, but with very special qualities among the humans and the deities. Do we find anything about the teacher in where? In Itipiso statement? Can you find that place?
Yes,
Itipiso
Bhante, the Buddha is the teacher of God and man.
Yeah.
Teacher of
the God and man.
Yes.
They were humans.
Yes.
Satta Deva Manusa.
Satta.
He is not only the teacher of the Manusas, also the teacher of the Devas.
Gods and men. Satta Deva.
Okay, so it's a very interesting topic because we have to learn some of the stories of the Buddha to understand a good teacher. And also, students have to respect the teachers in 5 ways, which is what we discussed today. The first one, as we discussed, is about what you call greetings, do greetings and respects. The second is to attend to them. Third is to listen to them properly. The fourth is to serve them in a proper way. The fifth one is to learn properly and then show that you are a well-read person and then you are growing well with that knowledge which you learn from the teacher. Okay, since I'm going to do a short chanting for you, so let's finish our class from today for the 2022 year. So I'm going to bless all of you. Good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, as I always mention to all of you. May you and your family members be protected, blessed by the Deva Naga Mahitika and the Triple Gem for all the good things in your life for the next year too, 2023. With that in mind, please listen to the chanting mindfully and attentively. I'm going to chant a short sutta. This is called Atta Visati Paritta, the protective chant of the 28 Buddhas. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manussanang buddho bhagavati swakhato bhagavata dhammo sandittiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko pachattang veditabbu vinyuheti supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho samiti patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho yadidang chattari purisa yugani atte purisa pungala esa bhagavato savaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyaketang lokassati etena sacca vanjena patutwang ratanantayang etena sacca vanjena patutwang ratanantayang etena sacca vanjena patutwang ratanantayang. Atta Visati Paritta, protective chant of 28 Buddhas. Tannankaru Mahaviru Medhankaru Mahayaso Saranankaru Lokahitu Deepankaru Jutindharu Kondanyo Janapamukho Mangalu Purisa Sabhu Sumano Sumano Dhiro Revato Ratibandhan Sobito Gunasampanno Anomadassi Januntamo Padumo Loka Panjoto Naradu Varasarati Padumuttero Sattasaru Sumedo Aggapungalo Sujato Sabbalu Kaggu Piyadassi Narasabu Atta Dassi Karuniko Dhammedassi Tamonudu Siddhatto Asamoduki Tisso Varada Sangvaru Pusso Varada Sangbundho Vipassi Anupamo Sikhe Sabbahito Sattha Vesabhu Sukadayaku Kakusando Sattavaho Kona Gamanu Rananjahu Kassapu Siri Sampanno Gotamo Sakya Pungavu Te Sang Sachena Silena Kanti Metta Balena Cha Tepi Mang Twang Anurakhantu Arugena Sukhena Cha Te Sang Sachena Silena Kanti Metta Balena Cha Tepi Mang Twang Anurakhantu Arugena Sukhena Cha Te Sang Sachena Silena Kanti Metta Balena Cha Tepi Mang Twang Anurakhantu Arugena Sukhena Chati. By the power of the 28 Buddhas, truthfulness and virtues, patience and loving kindness. May the power of them be a shield around me, you. May health and happiness be mine and yours. Etena Satya Vajjena Dukha Rupa Saminte. Etena Satya Vajjena Bhaya Rupa Samintute. Etena Satya Vajjena Roga Rupa Samintute. Asinsana. Sambhitiyo Vivajjantu Sabbarogo Vinassato Mate Bhavatvantarayu Sukhi Dighayu Bhava Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhanupavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Nakhatte Yakhe Bhutanang Papanga Nivarena Parittassanubhavena Hantu Te Sang Upandave Nakhatte Yakhe Bhutanang Papanga Nivarena Parittassanubhavena Hantu Te Sang Upandave Nakhatte Yakhe Bhutanang Papanga Nivarena Parittassanubhavena Hantu Te Sang Upandave Devo Vassatu Kalena Sasya Sampatti Hotu Cha Pito Bhavatu Loko Cha Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That's the end of the short chanting, and now we're going to proceed to the transference of merits and the sharing of the good karmas with the Devas, Nagas, and Kikas. Now let's reflect upon all the sessions we've been doing to this day. I think we started probably in the second week or third week of March. I think we missed only 2 weeks. One was that I was in Manila, Philippines for a week, I guess, and then I was not able to do another week for some reasons. Other than that, we've been continuing. So today, it's already 40 days. So whenever you remember, reflect upon each session, you are creating an additional level of amount of good karmas. Let's say you make good karmas, you think about it, you make another level of good karmas. So we have a bunch of good karmas all of us, everybody here. So may all these good karmas, which you've been reflecting and at the same time continuing, accumulating in all these ways by listening to this discussion, engaging in the discussion, and more importantly, practicing the Dhamma that we discuss all these weeks, be transferred to all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of you. May all the departed people in your families, in your sansaric life, be able to receive all these good karmas. If they were reborn in a painful life realm, may they be able to be switch to a better place, comfortable place where they can learn more Dhamma. If they are already in a better place, may they be able to finally attain the bliss of, supreme bliss of Nibbana. With that in mind, we're going to recite the stanza. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi jnati nang hotu sukita huntu jnatayo. Idammi jnati nang hotu sukita huntu jnatayo. Idammi jnati nang hotu sukita huntu jnatayo. Let's share all the good karmas with the devas, nagas, and maitikas. May all the good karmas be shared by all the kind devas, nagas, and maitikas. May they be well and happy, and may they protect all of you. There are many people who've been helping, supporting to make this to this level. All of you helping us, everybody, and listening, engaging. May all these individuals, including Reverend monks, be protected and blessed by Deva, Naga, for good health, quality of life, and all the prosperity. Not even all of you, but also your family members, even your grandsons, grandchildren, to everybody. And some of them could not make it today for different reasons. So may all they be protected by Devas, Nagas, and Mahitikas. Good health, quality of life, especially give them more time and then bless their dharmic journey in addition to their family life. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammihi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti sindhya. Ittavatacha ammihi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ittavatacha ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tuluka sasanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tudesanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tumang paranti chirang rakkang tutwang sadati. In our Dhammic journey, we cannot forget about the Kalyana Mittas who have been helping us. We should have two Kalyana Mittas according to the Buddha. The Buddha said one is the Buddha, and the other one, at least we should have one more Kalyana Mittas. More Kalyana Mittas are better. So without Kalyana Mittas, we cannot proceed. We have a good number of people here, so like-minded people who want to learn Dhamma together. So let's aspire this way. May we always be in the company of the Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, and not be in the company of the Papa Mittas, bad friends, till we attain the Nibbana. Thus we're going to recite stanza. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanimbana pantiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which you've been accumulating throughout the whole year 2022 be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. To bless you with a couple more stanzas, please receive the blessings. Abhivadana silissa nichang vadha pachayino chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarugya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. Sadhu. With that, I'm going to wish all of you a good evening, good night. At the same time, a very prosperous, happy, safe year ahead, 2023. We're going to be seeing the first Friday of next week. Thank you, everyone, Aliana, Lim, for all this facilitation at the temple, monks, everybody who joined here for the whole year. And we'll continue our Dhamma path.
Thank you,
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Thank you,
Also, would like
Bhante.
to ask forgiveness if anything that I've done wrongly in my speaks, body action, or mind, consciously or subconsciously. Please forgive me, Bhante.
There's nothing that nobody has done. Everybody is very respectful, very kind, and they are very good people. I have no comment, no concern about it.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
But that is the proper way of saying Kayena Vacha Chitta, right? You know, I'm sure it's a very good crowd. I'm very happy, impressed.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bhante. Brother and sister, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
Everybody.
Have a
brothers
good
and
year.
sisters.
Another better year.
Yeah,
Are we going to
like
be
here.
turned off on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Facebook.